In this part, we are going to clean up our controller by introducing AutoMapper. Right now, our API works correctly. You will notice that we are manually converting product entities into product DTO objects and create product DTO objects into product entities. This works, but as the application grows, this mapping code becomes repetitive and makes the controller harder to read. AutoMapper solves this problem by moving mapping rules into a dedicated profile. Instead of writing the same property assignment again and again, we define the mapping once, then reuse it everywhere. This keeps our controller focused on handling HTTP requests while AutoMapper handles object transformation. First, we need to install AutoMapper integration package for ASP.NET Core. This package allows us to register AutoMapper in the dependency injection container, so we can inject it directly into our controllers and services. Now we create a new folder called Mappings, and inside it we add a product profile class. In AutoMapper, a profile is where we define how an object should be converted into another. This class inherits from profile, which comes from AutoMapper. Inside the constructor, we define our mapping rules. The first rule maps product to product DTO. This is used when we retrieve data from the database and return it to the client. The second rule maps create product DTO to product. This is used when the client sends data to create or update product, and we need to convert that input DTO into our database entity. Because the property names are the same, name, description, price, and stock, AutoMapper can match them automatically. After creating the profile, we need to register AutoMapper in program.cs. This tells ASP.NET Core where to find our mapping configuration. We pass the product profile type to add AutoMapper, and AutoMapper will scan the assembly and register the mappings defined in the profile. This must be done before build.build because services and service registration happens before the application is built. Next, we inject IMapper into the controller. Just like AppDB context, AutoMapper is now registered in the dependency injection container, so ASP.NET Core now can provide it automatically. We store it in a private read-only field called mapper. From now on, whenever we need to convert one object into another, we will use the mapper instead of writing manual property assignments. Let's start with the getAllProducts endpoint. After retrieving the products from the database, we used select and manually created new product DTO for each product. That worked, but it added extra mapping code inside the controller. Now we replaced that with only one line, mapper.map, and we are going to use the IEnumerable products. This tells AutoMapper to convert the list of product entities into a list of product DTO object using the mapping rule we defined earlier. For the getProductById endpoint, the logic stays almost the same. We still search the product using the find async, and we still return not found if the product does not exist. The only difference is the mapping step. Instead of manually assigning ID, name, description, price, and stock, we simply call mapper.map product. This makes the endpoint shorter and easier to understand. Now let's update the post endpoint. When the client sends the create product DTO, we need to convert it into a product entity before saving it to the database. Earlier, we created a new product manually and copied every property one by one. Now AutoMapper does that for us using the mapper.map. After saving the product, the database generates the ID. Then we map the saved product entity back into the product DTO and return it using the created add action. This keeps the endpoint focused and on the workflow, receive input, map it, save it, and return the response. The put endpoint is slightly different because we are updating an existing product. First, we retrieve the product from the database. If it does not exist, we return not found. Then we use the mapper. This means AutoMapper will copy the values from the DTO into the existing product entity. This is important because we are not creating a new product here. We are updating the tracked entity that entity framework already loaded from the database. Once we call save changes async, entity framework core detects the changes and updates the record. The delete endpoint does not need AutoMapper because we are not converting data. We only need the product ID, then we find entity, remove it from the database context, and save the changes. So AutoMapper is useful when we transfer objects, but not for deleting operations. There is no DTO mapping required. At this point, our controller is much cleaner. We removed the repetitive mapping code and moved the mapping rules into the dedicated AutoMapper profile. This makes the project easier to maintain and closer to how real production APIs are structured. In the next part, we can continue improving the project by adding a service layer, for example, and for the controller does not communicate directly with the database anymore. That will help us separate HTTP logic from business logic and make the application easier to test and scale. So for the AutoMapper task is done. The next tutorial we can implement the service logic to add more production features to our project. Don't forget to subscribe.